Hello, Libra. Welcome to Ooled Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. Okay, Libra, so we have the Knight of Wands. I almost said swords. No. Look at all that red. Of course, it's wands. It is all about that fiery passion that, really, we get up to the level of the knight or the king. And this is one who is really on that road of mastery, of being able to not only really inspire these passions within self, this creativity within self, but to also do something with it, right? I don't know if you're anything like me, but I've had plenty of times in my life where I had big ideas, I had, hopes, dreams. I thought, I got all the stuff to do this. I'm going to get going on it. And then next thing you know, it's 6 months later and I think, what the heck happened? I didn't have that fire and control, right? I wasn't applying it where I needed to and letting it just, go. So let's go ahead and see. Where are you going to put this energy? Because you are... you're in control here. Okay, let's see. We're going to turn this real quick and give it a little... And I want to go ahead and say thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you are interested in helping the channel out at all, and no, I don't mean by, becoming a member or anything like that, although, there are memberships, but liking, subscribing, or leaving a comment. All of those things help the channel immensely. I do not like asking, but, here we are. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so it looks like we have, here's a face. You can see the eyes, nose, mouth. Now it goes down into the body, and you can see this is just the upper part of the torso. No legs or anything like that, just this upper part. Now, we can also see, it looks like we have the bare mammary there. We also have, it looks like an airplane right there in the middle. We also have what I'm reading as maybe, this is a very particular one. Z-E-B, Zeb. I don't know. Maybe this one needs to be upside down and then it can be like Zepp, like part of Led Zeppelin. I don't know. Maybe somebody named Zed or Zepp or Zeb. I'm not sure. It could also be initials, of course. Okay. So we're going to keep looking here. We also have the number 7, lucky number 7. We have a home right here, but we also have a snail and we have a snake kind of posted out here in the front. So I feel like it's pretty safe to say that you have been wanting to travel, move, change of scenery. I feel like there are times here where you just feel stuck, right? It's like no matter what you do, no matter how hard you work, it's hard to get ahead. And even if you do get ahead, it's like constant battle. Things just going on, and things just going on. That could be anything, right? But yeah, just like constant conflict arising, just feeling stagnant. I think that's the big thing. Feeling like like your wheels are spinning, but you're going nowhere, right? And you just need some traction. You just need something to get gripped up on, right? And going forward. And so I feel like this is what this cycle is going to be about. Okay, Libra. I feel you coming into a space where, honestly, I feel like you're usually a homebody. I feel like you usually like to be, home in your routine, doing the things that you can kind of plan on, right? Like you already know, okay, this is how this is going to go. I know my wife's going to pick up the kids at this time, and I'm going to, have dinner going at this time. And that feels good, right? Just knowing exactly how the days will go for the most part, right? And yet, even though you crave routine, consistency, I think at times you start to feel really weighed down by the monotony. I feel like you get into places where you start to think, like, what am I doing? This is like the same thing over and over and over. I feel like I am just living like a Groundhog's Day, right? So I see you really like waking up here a bit, right? Saying, okay, here is my window. Here is this little crack in the door. I'm going to get my foot all the way in there because I'm swinging that thing open and I'm going into the next room. I'm ready for something else. I'm ready for some excitement in my life. And I feel like that's where you're at, okay? Now, maybe it is actual travel. It could be that you're changing up your routine. Maybe you're doing things in different order. Our routine's about to change here at home, and I have some anxiety about it. I'm going to be real with you. My daughter's about to be out of school, and I'm used to things going a certain way, but it's going to be all right because we adapt. Don't we, Libra? We're adaptable. So over here in the house, we have the snail and the snake. Okay, so I do feel like, and they're outside of the house, so I do feel like there is somebody, they do feel familiar. Maybe it's a family member, maybe it's like an in-law or, like a neighbor down the street or something, right? But it feels like this is a person that has been rooting for, honestly, just you having trouble in your life. I don't know that they're like out here hoping that something like bad happens. No, I don't think so. But I feel like this is a person that like kind of secretly feeds off of other people's troubles. It makes them feel better about themselves. And I feel like you already know who I'm talking about. I do think that in the next little while here, especially as you start to feel better about yourself, about how you're living, you get that like wind beneath your wings, you are up there, you're flying high, you're doing all the things that you've been wanting to do, and then this stinking person comes around with their, grumpy face, just kind of folded arms, shaking their head. And I feel like for you, it's like, okay, I am not putting up with this anymore, basically. Now, I feel like, and we have the snail next to the snake, I feel like this is going to be a slow process, okay? I don't feel like any kind of confrontation is going to be helpful. In fact, I think that's what they want. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do, but I do think that just continuing to focus on yourself, trying to kind of just dust that dirt off your shoulder like that, letting it all go. If that's how they want to live, if that's how they want to feel, good for them. Because it's not going to dampen your life, your experience, or what's going on with you. So I feel like this is like kind of almost a little blessing, an opportunity, right? To not get all twisted up about it. To prove to yourself that you can let things go. You know, it's maybe not, your favorite thing to have to deal with somebody behaving in that way, but also they kind of do win if we give in to that anger, that frustration, all the things that kind of come about when we're starting to feel like this person really cannot get over trying to make my life harder, right? But in reality, I feel like this is kind of just their general MO. And you know this. You know it's not a personal thing about you. This is just how they kind of exist, which is unfortunate. Absolutely. But it's not going to ruin your day, okay? Now, let's go ahead and turn this. We're going to take a look over here. And we have the big butterfly right here. We also have a fish. We have a goat right over here. And it looks like we have a family up here. We have an animal here. We have another one right here. In a little nest with like a baby in it. And this one is holding something. So I almost feel, this almost feels like the ultimate family portrait. I feel like there's just such a blessing, a love, a absolute closeness here. I wonder if this is like remembering something from the past. Back when the kid or kids were young, little babies, and everybody was, kind of hunkered down in the house together with the newborn and, the closeness that comes with those early years. And, I wonder if maybe at times you are kind of nostalgic for this. Maybe maybe the person that you're having some trouble with is your own child, or maybe it's your spouse or your ex that you had the child with. But I do feel like it's kind of like this, I wish we could just get to a place where everybody is okay and cool. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be overly joyous, but just okay. Civil, right? And so I feel like this comes up in mind. We also have the tower right here, and you can see kind of a frowny face. Now, I do feel like at some point there was maybe a breakup, or, like I said, maybe your kid or kids grew up and, something happened where you're not as close as you used to be. And I feel like this tower is still standing. It is a fundamental part of your life. But, I feel like if there's not work done in this area, it will become that kind of tower moment where it really does start to fall apart. I don't think it's to that point yet. I really don't. But I do think that there absolutely is space here for, some kind of like reunification. Now, I'm not saying if this is your ex and like, I'm not saying go back to them. I mean more of like being closer with the kids, right? Reestablishing kind of that connection within your close family unit, okay? Now, the butterfly tells me there's so much growth happening with you. We talk about things that are hard here, not because I want to like bring up all the worst stuff and make your day feel terrible, like you're, just sinking in it. I hope that's never the case. But what I do like to talk about is, sometimes the hard stuff comes up, but we always have this opportunity to do something. Now, it's not going to fix everything. It's not going to like go back in time and it never happened, but we can begin to try to process some, integrate it, heal, And hopefully also, if there's any guilt or shame or resentment, to begin to let go of some of that. It's just extra baggage to carry with us. It is, in fact, it is something that is useful. We need to know like where we went wrong, right? If we never had any kind of shame, if we never felt any guilt, we wouldn't know to say like, okay, that was messed up. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have acted like that. I should have done better, right? So instead of just having this revelation and thinking, oh, no, I said that. I said the wrong thing. I was too aggressive. I, was flippant. I was dismissive, whatever it was, right? If it was me, it's all the things, especially if I'm getting mad. And I know immediately I need to apologize. I need to make it right as soon as I can. Now, that doesn't mean that anybody outside of myself has to forgive me because I don't control how other people feel. But if I did something, right? If I did something, said something, even if it was many years ago, and that affected somebody in a way that, I can't understand, or I'm like, okay, this needs to be done, get over it, that's not helpful either, right? People are going to feel how they feel. And especially if it was my doing, or I set off a chain of events or whatever that caused them to get into a place where they do feel that way, then I need to respect that. And that's something I feel like we all need to work on sometimes. Now, I feel like, oops, that just fell off. I do feel like you are, and you're a Libra, so I don't even know why I'm going on about this, but I feel like you are very open and receptive to self-growth, self-evolution, and really just becoming the best person that you can be for the life that you have chosen. Okay? Now, we also have the goat. So that tells me that you have the resolve to do whatever it is that you need to do in life to get to where you want to be. So, don't forget, when you're feeling tired, when you're feeling grouchy, when you feel like you don't want to do this anymore, you're done, I want to just hide in bed, I just don't have it in me today, remember who you are. You are that goat person. Now, you're not a Capricorn, okay, but you are somewhere in there. A little bit goat, right? And so remind yourself, these goats, they're silly, they jump around, they make all kinds of funny faces, but they're also able to traverse some of the most dangerous, unbelievable rock faces, mountains, hills, fences. I mean, you name it, they're going to figure out how to get up there. And so, Libra, you have the same resolve, and I know it. And I know it. All right, let's see. Okay, we have the dolphin. We have a bird. We have a person making an offering. You can see the head here. Here's the body, arm out, something going upwards. Here's our dolphin. Very psychic energy. The bird, the messenger. Again, here we go. A person lifting something up into the sky. So what this tells me is there is a sense of knowing that you need to give of self. And that is to self, really. Give of self to self. The way that you show up for other people, I feel like you have to start showing up for yourself in the same way. I feel that in this next cycle, there will be this opportunity to really connect with that deeper divine force, but only if you are able to do it through self-love. And I know it sounds so cheesy, but sometimes the door is right in that heart space. That is the only way we're getting through there, and we are connecting to that divine light. So this is really important. In this next cycle, we're practicing radical self-love, okay? Forgiving self, listening to self, showing up for self, making sure you're prioritizing yourself and your needs and all of that, okay? Now we'll do 3 lucky numbers. Ooh, that one went way over there. Let's see, what's the number? 53. 53. And so I have new sound, or I soundproofed a little bit differently. So let me know if it sounds any better. I'm still working on getting the rest of the room, fixed up. But hopefully this is a little bit better. All right, 63. 53, 63, and 72. Oh my gosh, we almost had 73 as well. So 53, 63, and 72. Very close, universe, but not quite there. Not quite. Okay, now we're going to do our Indigo Sage affirmation cards. And I'm just going to go ahead and flip through, stop where it feels right. You have these beautiful, I don't know what these are. At first I was like, are these agave? They're not. They're not. Maybe it's like a, I don't know, some kind of leafy little bushy thing. I was going to say, what are those called? Hostas. I thought they looked kind of like hostas. Okay, let's see. We have 40. Listen to nature. Become an independent shaman spirited by love to breathe and move personally. Yeah, I like that. I mean, listen, we're all practicing medicine. And I don't mean Western medicine or the medical industrial complex. But yeah, we are all practicing, doing things that make the world better, make ourselves better. And that is truly medicine. If that's saying good morning to somebody every day, if that is, literally like, volunteering, showing up for people, or whatever it might be. There's so many ways for us to serve each other and the world we live in. So, Libra, I love you. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. We'll talk real soon. I'm trying to think the solstice is coming up pretty quickly here. A couple more weeks, about a month, I guess. What are you going to do for it? If you have any special rituals or ceremonies, I'd love to hear about it. All right. I love you. I love you. I love you. Take care of yourself. Good night.